Hello everyone, welcome to my new channel, Learning with DC24, the best teacher in the world. I'm your host, DC24. Okay, that's enough of DC24. Let's get started with today's lesson. Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about time. How can we tell the time? How can we write the time? So the first thing we need to know is, how can we tell the time? So this thing right here is for the hours. And the longer one is for the minutes. Let's take an example. So where is the short hand pointing? It is pointing at the number 2. So it will be 2. And if the long one is pointing at the number 12, it's going to be 0, 0. Okay? That's going to be 2 a.m. if it's in the morning, or 2 p.m. if it's in the afternoon. Okay? Now it says, write the time an hour after the time on each clock. So we know that on the first clock is 2 p.m. Now, what will be the time after 1 hour? So if it's 1 hour, so we have to move this 1 step. So we go 1. What's the next number after 2? It is 3. So it just told us to move 1 hour. It didn't tell us to move in any minutes, right? So if it's just 1 hour, all we have to do is just move this, which will be pointing at 3. So it will be 3 a.m. or p.m. Okay? Moving on to the next clock. Remember, the short one is for hours. The long one is for minutes. So what time is it over here? It is 11 p.m. or a.m. Okay, so there are no minutes because the long one is pointing at 12. All right, so it's 11 p.m. Now moving it after 1 hour, it will be what? What's the next number? What's after 11? It is 12 p.m. or a.m. Okay? The next one. So this is interesting. We have the short one. Where is it pointing at? It doesn't point anywhere, right? It doesn't point at the 9, and it's not pointing at the 10. So how do we know which number is it pointing at? Let's get a simulation really quickly. Now, let's look at this. So first of all, the long one is for the minutes, as you can see. And then the shorter one is for the hours. Now let's put it at 2 p.m. Let's leave it at 2 p.m. Okay. Now that it's 2 p.m., let's see what happens after we go 5 minutes. Let's go 15. Let's just keep going a little further. Now, look at the orange one. Look at the short one. Look at the shorthand. Where is it moving towards to? it's moving towards the 3, right? So it went from 2 p.m. Look where it's moving, look where it's moving, look where it's moving. It keeps going and going and going. Now, if we stop over here at 2:30, it's also pointing at nothing, right? It's not pointing at 2, but it's not pointing at 3. So how do we know what time, which hour does it belong to? Is it the 2 or the 3? Now, if it's between the numbers, then it belongs to the number that is before. So if it's the 2 over here and it keeps going, and it's between 2 and 3, then that means it is 2. The hour is 2. And then how do we figure out the minutes? With the green one, the long hand. If it's pointing over here, then it's going to be 2:40. If it's pointing over here, it's 2:30. If it's pointing over here, it's 2:45. And it keeps going, 50, 55, and we have finally reached the next number, which is 3 o'clock. Now, if it is between 3 and 4, then what hour is it? It is 3. Remember, it's always the number before. If it's 4 and 5, then it's 4. If it's 5 and 6, then it's 5. If it's 6 and 7, then it is 6. If it's between 7 and 8, then it is 7. And then you figure out the minutes. Okay, so that's how we know what hour it is or it belongs to when the shorthand doesn't point to either number. It doesn't point to 1, it doesn't point to 2. It just points right between them. So it's always going to belong to the hour, the number before it. Okay? So, now that we know that whenever it's pointing between two numbers, it belongs to the number before. So if it's 9 and 10, what is going to be the hour? It is going to be 9. And then where's the long one pointing at? It's pointing at 30. So it's going to be 9:30 p.m. or a.m. Okay, and the next one, look again, it's not pointing anywhere, it's just pointing between 3 and 4. So what time is it going to be? It's going to be the number before it, which is 3:30 p.m. or a.m. Okay, you understood? So this is how we use the clock. Now, if it tells you to make it in a 24-hour format, what is a 24-hour format? So right now we're using a 12-hour format. Let's use the first clock. Now the first clock says 2 p.m., right? So let's just say it is 2 p.m. Now in a 12-hour clock, it just means that it's 12 hours. Now in a 24-hour clock, how can we use this clock to be 24 if there are only 12 numbers on the clock? So what we need to know on a 24-hour format is that 12 is midnight. It's 0. 12 is 0, 0. a.m. That's on a 24-hour clock. After it, it turns to 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, after it reaches 12 on a 24-hour format, the next number is not going to be 1. 1 will be 13. Wait, let me just make some space. It will be 13. And then number 2 will be 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then you have just finished your 24 hours in a 24-hour format. Okay? So this is the difference between a 12-hour clock and a 24-hour clock. Always look at the question. Sometimes it tells you to put on a 12-hour clock. So 1 will be 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. But on a 24-hour clock, 1 will be 1 a.m. in the morning and then 13 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay? So right here is a 12-hour clock. The second one is a 24-hour clock, and that is the difference. Okay? So yeah, that is all you need to know about the time. If you do not understand, let me know in the comment section. If you do understand, thank you so much for watching, and please do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.